I found a laundromat that clears $27,000 a month. One employee. 4 hours a week of active management. No, that's not a clickbait title. And no, it's not a typo. While everyone else is losing their shirt on trendy dropshipping stores or crypto, thousands of quiet millionaires are building wealth on quarters, soap, and hot water, with almost none of them posting about it online. In fact, industry data puts coin laundries at roughly a 95% survival rate over 5 years, vastly outperforming restaurants, retail, and tech startups, where half the businesses that open don't make it to year 5. Let's break down the exact math, the hidden traps, and how you actually buy or build one. This is Costline. Let's start at ground zero, an empty commercial space. Depending on your market, leasing a 2,000 to 3,000 square foot retail footprint runs anywhere from $3,000 to $8,000 a month in rent. And location isn't just about foot traffic, it's about demographic density. You need high concentrations of renters and older housing stock without in-unit laundry hookups. Before you even open the doors, you need serious industrial infrastructure. A residential house uses a 3-4-inch water main. A commercial laundromat requires a 2-inch to 3-inch high-pressure water main, a massive hot water boiler system, and dedicated high-capacity drains. Then there's power. 3-phase electrical systems running hundreds of amps to power dozens of motors simultaneously. And don't forget industrial ventilation for a bank of double-stack gas dryers venting thousands of CFM outside. That build-out alone, plumbing, electrical, gas lines, impact fees, and flooring, runs between $150,000 and $300,000. Then come the machines themselves. And this is the number that surprises most first-time buyers. You aren't buying Home Depot washers. You're buying commercial steel units from brands like Speed Queen, Dexter, or Huebsch, built to run over a dozen cycles a day for 15 years straight. A basic 20-pound washer costs around $3,500. A massive 80-pound family-sized washer can cost upwards of $22,000 apiece. For our example store, we're outfitting the space with 30 total machines, a mix of 20 washers across small, medium, and large capacities, plus 10 double-stack dryer units. Fully equipped, that machine bill lands between $250,000 and $450,000. Add $15,000 to $30,000 for modern hybrid card payment systems, security cameras, and automated door locks. Add impact permits, insurance, and working capital, and your total turnkey startup cost sits between $450,000 and $800,000. That is the true price of entry for a brand new build. But there's a second path into this business, and it's the one most owners actually take, which brings us to the alternative, buying an existing zombie laundromat. About 70% of laundromat owners don't build from scratch. They buy an outdated store from a retiring owner. These stores are often neglected, running 20-year-old coin machines, leaking utilities, and zero marketing, which is exactly why they're undervalued. Existing laundromats sell based on a multiple of their net income, typically 3.5x to 5.5x annual net profit, or SDE. If a rundown mat makes $50,000 a year in net profit, you can often acquire it for $175,000 to $250,000. You then re-equip it using distributor financing, where equipment manufacturers finance 70% to 80% of new machine costs over 7 to 10 years. This lowers your upfront cash requirement dramatically, getting you into the business for $100,000 to $200,000 out of pocket instead of $500,000 or more. And whichever path you choose, new build or existing acquisition, most owners aren't paying these numbers in cash. SBA 7 loans are common in this industry, specifically because the machines themselves qualify as collateral, meaning a lender is often comfortable financing 80% to 90% of the total project cost. Typical terms run 7 to 10 years for equipment and up to 25 years if real estate is included in the deal, which is a big part of why the actual cash you need out of pocket is often far lower than the eye-popping total investment number suggests. Now let's examine where the money actually goes every single month. The single biggest operational expense is utilities. In most businesses, utilities are a minor overhead line item. In a laundromat, they're closer to your primary cost of goods sold. Water, sewage, natural gas, and electricity usually soak up 20% to 30% of your gross revenue. Water and sewage alone run $3,000 to $6,000 a month for a busy location. Natural gas or electric heat to keep 10 double-stack dryers running constantly adds another $3,000 to $5,000 monthly. Next is rent. On top of base rent, most commercial leases are triple net or NNN, meaning you also pay your share of building property taxes, insurance, and common area maintenance. All in, your space occupancy cost typically ranges from $5,500 to $8,500 every single month. Then there's maintenance. Direct drive belts break, coin acceptors jam, drain valves get clogged with stray socks and loose change. A smart operator budgets $800 to $1,500 per month for spare parts, plumbing service calls, and preventative maintenance. Labor costs vary. If fully unattended, you only pay a part-time attendant $500 to $1,500 a month for daily cleaning and trash removal. Add merchant processing fees, business insurance, software subscriptions, and trash pickup, and your total monthly expenses settle between $12,000 and $22,000. Worth noting, these costs aren't flat year-round. Colder climates see gas and hot water costs spike in winter months, while warmer regions see water usage climb in summer as laundry volume increases with heavier seasonal wear. Smart operators budget a seasonal buffer rather than assuming a flat monthly average. Now for the core math. How does a laundromat actually generate revenue? A standard 30-pound washer cycle costs $4.50 to $6. Larger 60-pound family washers run $9 to $13 per wash. Dryers operate on time-based microtransactions, typically 25 cents for 5 to 7 minutes of heat. An average customer spends $2 to $3.50 on drying alone. The key metric in this industry is turns per day, or TPD. How many times each machine cycles every 24 hours? An average store hits 3 to 4 turns per day. A top-performing location with great demographics hits 6 to 8 turns per day. Let's do the math on our same 30-machine store, averaging 4.5 turns a day at an average ticket of $6 per wash and dry combo. That's $810 a day, or roughly $24,300 a month just from self-service washers and dryers. Now add ancillary revenue. Wash and fold service, where customers drop off clothes and pay by the pound, usually $1.75 to $2.50 per pound, can add an extra $5,000 to $15,000 a month on its own. Soap vending machines, snack and soda vendors, arcade games, and ATM fees add another $1,000 to $2,500 in high-margin cash flow, with almost no additional labor required. Put it all together, and total monthly gross revenue for a solid location lands between $30,000 and $55,000 a month. For comparison, that same 30-machine store running at a top-tier 7 turns per day in a high-density urban location can push machine revenue alone past $37,000 a month, before wash and fold or vending are even added in. Location and turns per day are the two single biggest levers separating an average laundromat from a great one. So what actually lands in the owner's bank account? Let's look at a typical mid-tier store. Gross revenue, $38,000. Utilities at 22%, minus $8,360. Rent and NNN, minus $6,500. Labor and cleaning, minus $2,000. Repairs and maintenance, minus $1,200. Insurance and admin, minus $1,000. Card processing, minus $900. Net operating income, $18,040 per month, or over $216,000 per year. That's a net profit margin of roughly 30% to 45%, dramatically higher than most brick-and-mortar businesses. And because modern systems let you refund customers, unlock machines remotely, and review security footage directly from your phone, this net income is largely passive once the store is running smoothly. Which raises the obvious question: how long does it take to actually earn back your investment? Depending on whether you built new or bought an existing store, most owners recoup their full investment somewhere between 3 and 6 years, and every dollar after that is pure upside. There's also a tax advantage most first-time owners don't factor in. Commercial laundry equipment qualifies for accelerated depreciation, meaning you can write off a large portion of that machine cost against your income in the early years of ownership, which materially softens your real tax bill while the business is still ramping up. And this is exactly why laundromats are a favorite among owners looking to scale. Once you've proven the operating model at one location, the remote monitoring, the attendant schedule, The maintenance vendors? Replicating that same playbook at a second or third store doesn't require reinventing your systems, just applying capital and the demographic research to a new location. So why isn't everyone doing this? Because the traps here are real. Trap number 1, the lease trap. If your lease expires and the landlord refuses to renew or doubles your rent, you can't just move your business. Unhooking and relocating hundreds of thousands of dollars in bolted down machines can cost more than the machines are worth. Trap number 2, utility rate hikes. If municipal water or local gas rates spike by 30%, your profit margins shrink overnight unless you can pass those costs on to customers without losing them to competitors. Trap number 3, competitive encroachment. If a sleek, brand new competitor opens 2 blocks away with modern amenities and free Wi-Fi, your volume can plummet by 40% in a single month. Trap number 4, demographic shift. As cities gentrify and older apartment buildings convert to luxury units with in-unit laundry, your customer base naturally shrinks over time, which is exactly why demographic research before signing a lease matters more here than in almost any other business. Trap number 5, theft and vandalism. Coin-operated machines are a physical cash business, which means break-ins, coin box tampering, and vandalism are real operational risks, not hypothetical ones. Most experienced owners budget for hardened coin mechanisms, comprehensive camera coverage, and a cash pickup schedule tight enough that no machine is ever holding more than a day or 2 of quarters at once. So who does this business actually make sense for? Someone with $150,000 to $250,000 in accessible capital or SBA financing eligibility, patience for a 3 to 6 year payback horizon rather than a quick flip, and a willingness to do real demographic homework before signing a single lease. It's a poor fit for anyone expecting fast, hands-off returns with no upfront capital or research. The owners who fail in this industry are almost always the ones who skipped the location analysis to save time. So, is a laundromat still one of the best cash-flowing assets you can own? If you buy right, secure a long-term lease, and manage your utility efficiency, this business can deliver a 25% to 35% annual cash-on-cash return. It isn't free money. It's physical infrastructure, capital management, and smart demographics. And the owners who treat it that seriously are the ones who end up in that 95% that survive, not the ones who assumed the machines alone would do the work. That's the real cost and the real math behind owning a laundromat. Next time on Costline, we're breaking down the wild economics of self-storage facilities, how operators make millions off empty steel boxes. Subscribe so you don't miss it.